Close your eyes, take a deep, slow breath in, and let it out. Let the heavy noise of the city, the endless notifications, and the stress of the day simply fade away. Imagine you are floating, weightless, suspended in a vast, silent ocean of velvet darkness, sprinkled with the soft, glittering diamond dust of a billion stars. We often look up at that night sky with a sense of wonder, but also with a quiet, lingering anxiety. Are we alone? Is there someone or something out there in the deep dark, navigating the endless void to find us? Hollywood and science fiction have painted vivid pictures of armadas descending from the clouds, of visitors crossing the galactic sea with ease. But nature, in its infinite wisdom, has written a different story, a story that is profoundly peaceful. Tonight, we are going to explore a beautiful, undeniable truth. We are going to discover exactly why the stars are kept safely apart. We will learn why alien civilizations, no matter how ancient or advanced, will never reach our quiet little blue planet. And as you understand the majestic mechanics of this cosmic quarantine, you might just find a deep, comforting sense of peace in our solitude. To truly appreciate the beauty of our isolation, we must first understand the canvas on which this grand cosmic painting is drawn. Decades ago, a brilliant physicist named Enrico Fermi looked up at the overwhelming mathematics of the universe. With hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and billions of years for life to evolve, the cosmos should be teeming with voices. It should be crowded with interstellar travelers. And yet, there is only silence, a profound, unbroken quiet. This contradiction became known as the Fermi paradox. Where is everybody? We have listened with giant steel ears, scanning the radio frequencies of the void, waiting for a whisper, a mathematical greeting, or the roar of a distant engine. But the universe remains perfectly, beautifully mute. The answer to this paradox is not a single, frightening monster lurking in the dark. Rather, it is a magnificent symphony of physical laws, time, and distance. The universe was not built for easy travel. It was built for stability. It was built with absolute speed limits, insurmountable energy requirements, and silent barriers that keep the fragile ecosystems of planets safely isolated in their own little pockets of warmth. Let us begin our gentle journey outward, examining these invisible walls one by one, and marveling at the architecture of the cosmos. Let us begin with the most fundamental illusion, the illusion of proximity. When we look up at a constellation, the stars appear as close companions, like glowing neighbors conversing over a dark fence. We often believe the myth that moving between them is just a matter of building a slightly faster ship. But let us picture the true scale of the void. Imagine our sun, a raging inferno, shrunk down to the size of a simple grain of sand sitting on a quiet beach. On this scale, the Earth is a microscopic speck of dust, orbiting barely a fraction of an inch away. Now, to find the very nearest star, Proxima Centauri, you would not just reach across the sand, you would have to walk. You would walk for miles along that beach, leaving that first grain of sand far behind, until you found just one more single grain. The emptiness between them is absolute, profound, and humbling. This is the first Great Wall. The sheer uncompromising vastness of space ensures that any journey is not a trip, but an eternal pilgrimage. But what about the ultimate speed? We must talk about light. Light is the fastest messenger in the universe, the absolute limit set by the fabric of reality itself. A common sci-fi myth is that we can simply bend space or slip into hyperspace, ignoring the rules. But the universe is strict, and its laws are binding. Light travels at an unimaginable 186,000 miles per second. At that speed, you could circle the Earth 7 times in a single heartbeat. Yet, Even at this divine velocity, the light from that nearest grain of sand takes over 4 agonizingly long years to reach us. To an alien civilization, looking at our solar system through their telescopes, they do not see us as we are today. They see shadows of the past. If they are slightly further away, they see an Earth dominated by dinosaurs. If they are on the other side of the galaxy, they see only a lifeless, cooling rock. They cannot travel to us because the us they are looking for does not yet exist in their sky. Now imagine the sheer physical energy required to challenge this darkness. There is a deeply ingrained myth that a civilization just needs better fuel to cross the stars. But physics teaches us the cruel law of mass. To push a heavy spaceship to even a fraction of the speed of light requires a breathtaking amount of energy. But here is the paradox. Energy requires fuel, and fuel has mass. To move the fuel, you need more fuel. To move that new fuel, you need even more. Picture trying to run a marathon while carrying a massive backpack full of water. The heavier the water, the more you sweat, the more water you need. It is a vicious, unbreakable cycle. Even if an advanced civilization harnessed the power of their entire star, the sheer mass required to propel a fleet across the galactic ocean would bankrupt their planetary resources. The universe enforces a strict cosmic economy, and interstellar travel is simply too expensive for any society to afford. Let us drift deeper into the mechanics of moving through the void. Perhaps you imagine an alien ship gracefully gliding through empty space, silent and unbothered. But the interstellar medium is not truly empty. It is a sea of incredibly thin, almost invisible dust and rogue hydrogen atoms. At a standstill, this dust is harmless. But at a high percentage of the speed of light, relativity turns these microscopic specks into devastating weapons. Imagine driving a car through a gentle rainstorm. Now imagine driving that car at light speed. Every single raindrop hits with the explosive force of a bomb. For an alien ship traveling fast enough to reach us in a lifetime, a single grain of cosmic sand would strike their hull with the energy of a nuclear detonation. To survive, they would need shields of unimaginable thickness, adding massive weight and requiring more fuel, leading them right back into the inescapable trap of mass and energy. Beyond the physical dust, there is an invisible ocean of radiation. Space is alive with the violent breaths of dying stars, supernovas and black holes screaming into the dark. We are safely wrapped in the warm, magnetic embrace of the Earth, a planetary shield that gently deflects these lethal cosmic rays. A journey between stars means leaving this protective cocoon. The myth of deep sleep, or cryostasis, often ignores this invisible fire. Even if alien biology is completely different from ours, complex molecular structures are fragile. Over a journey of thousands of years, high-energy cosmic rays would slowly, silently tear apart their DNA, their machinery, and their databanks. Picture leaving a beautiful painting out in the harsh desert sun for 1,000 years. By the time it is found, the colors are bleached, the canvas cracked, the image unrecognizable. The universe naturally sterilizes the space between stars. Time itself is perhaps the most formidable ocean to cross. We often think of space travel as a linear journey from point A to point B, but we must factor in the terrifying concept of deep time. Even if an alien species built a magnificent, self-sustaining world, a generation ship, it would take tens of thousands of years to cross the dark gulf. Imagine a civilization launching a grand vessel. By the time that ship arrives at our tiny blue dot, the civilization that built it might have turned to dust. The crew on board would be thousands of generations removed from their ancestors. They would have forgotten why they left. They would have evolved into something entirely different, adapted to the sterile, confined halls of their metal world, losing all desire to step foot on a chaotic, unpredictable planet with heavy gravity and wild weather. The journey itself changes the traveler, making the destination irrelevant. There is a haunting concept known as the Great Filter. It is the idea that the universe sets up invisible evolutionary tests, brutal hurdles that every civilization must jump over. We often romanticize the future, believing that technological progress is a straight line upwards. But the reality of history tells a different story. Civilizations rise, they burn bright, and they consume. The energy needed to conquer the stars requires harnessing the power of the atom, manipulating genetics, and controlling artificial intelligence. Any species advanced enough to build interstellar ships is also advanced enough to destroy itself in a single afternoon. Imagine a child playing with fire in a room full of dry paper. The odds of surviving long enough to build a calm, united, star-faring society are infinitesimally small. The silence of the universe might simply be the echo of civilizations that sparked, flickered, and faded out before they ever reached the launch pad. Let us consider the motivation of a hyper-advanced species. We project our human desires onto the cosmos, our need to explore, to conquer, to plant flags. But is this the ultimate goal of intelligence? Consider the concept of turning inward. As a civilization advances, they may not look up at the cold, hostile stars. Instead, they might look down into the infinite possibilities of the microscopic, or the digital. Why brave the lethal radiation, the crushing isolation, and the devastating costs of interstellar travel when you can build paradise at home? Imagine a civilization that constructs a perfect, simulated universe inside a supercomputer fueled by their home star. A realm where there is no disease, no distance, no scarcity. They would slip into a digital slumber, exploring infinite realities of their own design. The physical universe becomes merely a messy, inefficient power source. They will never visit Earth because reality simply cannot compete with their engineered dreams. Let us break down the myth of the perfect target. If an alien species did decide to brave the dark, why would they come here? The universe is unfathomably rich. There are billions of water worlds, diamond planets, and massive gas giants offering limitless resources. Earth is entirely unremarkable in its material wealth. If they need water, they can harvest dead comets. If they need metals, the lifeless asteroid belts offer endless abundance without the nuisance of dealing with an indigenous, aggressive, and primitive species like humanity. Imagine a traveler driving a luxury car across a continent. They do not stop at every anthill on the side of the highway to negotiate for a grain of sugar. They bypass it entirely. Our solar system is quiet, our signals are weak, and our resources are common. We are protected by our own cosmic insignificance. We are just a quiet little village far off the main galactic highway. There is another chilling yet fascinating theory called the dark forest. It suggests that the universe is not a friendly neighborhood, but a dark, silent forest, filled with armed hunters. In this scenario, any civilization that reveals its location by sending out ships or loud signals is instantly targeted by older, more paranoid civilizations who view all life as a potential future threat. Imagine walking through a pitch-black forest where you know wolves are hiding. Do you shout? Do you shine a flashlight? No, you walk silently, breathing softly, hiding your heat. If the universe operates on these brutal laws of survival, then sending a physical ship to a distant star is an act of supreme foolishness. It is painting a target on your back. Therefore, the oldest, wisest aliens do not travel. They do not broadcast. They sit silently in the dark, maintaining the peace through absolute stillness. Even if we assume a benevolent, incredibly wealthy civilization decides to send a probe, we must face the problem of deceleration. It is relatively easy, in a cosmic sense, to accelerate a tiny object to a high speed using powerful lasers from their home world. But how does that object stop when it reaches us? Without a massive home-world laser to push backward on its sails, it will simply flash through our solar system in a matter of days and vanish back into the deep void. Think of the Voyager probes, drifting endlessly outward. Without friction in space, a fast-moving object has no brakes. The myth of an alien ship gracefully slowing down and entering Earth's orbit ignores the monstrous physical challenge of shedding all that kinetic energy. To stop, they would have to carry an unbelievable amount of fuel, taking us right back to the inescapable prison of the mass ratio problem. Let us talk about the sheer unlikelihood of our biological paths crossing. Humanity has existed for a tiny, barely noticeable blink in the timeline of the universe. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Modern humans have been broadcasting radio waves for barely a century. Imagine the history of the universe as a massive, thick encyclopedia. Humanity's technological era is not even a full word on the very last page. For aliens to reach us, they wouldn't just need to find exactly where we are. They would need to arrive at the exact right moment. If they arrived 1 million years ago, they would find clever apes. If they arrive 1 million years from now, they might find a quiet, reclaimed nature. The cosmic window of opportunity is simply too narrow. It is like two blindfolded people walking through a massive city, trying to find each other by clapping once every 10 years. Consider the evolution of machines. If anything ever crosses the immense ocean between stars, it will not be biological. It will not be soft, breathing creatures. Flesh and bone are meant for the gentle cradle of a planet. Space belongs to metal and silicon. Any civilization that masters space travel will have mastered artificial intelligence long before. Therefore, they would send automated probes. But a probe does not need to visit Earth to understand it. From the edge of our solar system, an advanced AI could analyze our atmosphere, read our primitive radio waves, and deduce our entire biological history in moments. There is no need for contact, no need for abduction, no need for grand entrances. Imagine a biologist watching a microscopic organism through a lens. They do not shrink down to talk to it. They simply observe, record, and move on. The aliens will never reach us because their machines already know all they care to know. We must also face the terrifying reality of the expanding universe. The space between galaxies is not static. It is stretching, pulling everything apart at an accelerating rate. While gravity holds our local group of galaxies together, the grander universe is slipping away into the dark. Imagine standing on a giant rubber sheet that is being pulled from all sides. Even if an incredibly ancient civilization exists in a distant galaxy, they are physically cut off from us forever. The light of their stars, let alone their ships, can never outpace the expansion of space itself. They are trapped on their island, and we are trapped on ours. This expansion is a beautiful, melancholic guarantee of isolation. The universe is actively sealing the doors between the grand cosmic rooms, ensuring that no one can ever wander too far from their ancestral home. Let us reconsider the concept of time dilation, Einstein's strange and beautiful gift. If a ship travels close to the speed of light, time slows down for the passengers. What feels like a few years for the alien crew would be millennia for their home planet. This creates a heartbreaking disconnect. Imagine leaving your home, knowing that when you return, everyone you ever loved, your culture, perhaps your entire species, will be gone. The psychological toll of this relativity trap is immense. Why would any sentient being choose a journey that guarantees they become an eternal exile? A culture that values connection, family, and history would never sanction a mission that essentially erases the travelers from their own timeline. The physical laws of the universe force a terrible choice: stay home and belong, or travel the stars and lose everything you ever knew. There is an elegant simplicity in the idea that perhaps life is supposed to be local. We view isolation as a negative, a lonely quarantine. But what if isolation is the universe's way of protecting diversity? Imagine if every forest, every island, every ocean on Earth was instantly connected, and dominant species could travel anywhere, instantly. The unique, fragile ecosystems would be overrun and destroyed. The cosmic distances act as the ultimate quarantine, allowing trillions of unique biological experiments to flourish in absolute safety. Earth's beautiful, chaotic tapestry of life, the singing whales, the deep forests, the bustling human cities, is allowed to exist precisely because nothing can easily reach us to disrupt it. Our loneliness is not a punishment. It is a protective embrace. The vast, dark void is a moat that keeps our castle safe. We often suffer from a deeply human-centric bias. We assume aliens would think like us, explore like us, and conquer like us. We project our history of wooden ships crossing oceans onto the canvas of the cosmos. But an intelligence that is millions of years older than us might operate on philosophies we cannot begin to comprehend. Imagine trying to explain poetry to an ant. The cognitive gap would be unbridgeable. These ancient minds might view the physical universe as a trivial, solved problem. They might be communicating through the subtle manipulation of quantum fields, or harvesting the energy of black holes in quiet, meditative peace. They have outgrown the loud, explosive, primitive desire to strap themselves to rockets and shoot across the dark. They do not reach us because they have evolved past the very concept of physical travel. Let us look at the fragility of communication, the first step before any journey. The myth of the cosmic radio beacon ignores the cruel inverse square law of physics. As a signal travels through space, it spreads out, becoming infinitely weaker. A powerful radio broadcast from Earth fades into the background static of the universe after just a few light years. It becomes indistinguishable from the whisper of dead stars and the hum of the cosmic microwave background. Imagine dropping a tiny pebble into the center of the Pacific Ocean and expecting someone on the other side of the world to feel the ripple. It is impossible. We are shouting into a hurricane. Even if a civilization wanted to find us, our voices dissolve into the void long before they reach the nearest listening ear. We are hidden by the sheer volume of the cosmic silence. Consider the biological incompatibility of two alien ecosystems. Popular culture loves the idea of aliens walking on our soil, breathing our air. But biology is violently specific to its home environment. The atmosphere of Earth is a highly reactive mix of oxygen and nitrogen. To an alien biology, oxygen might be a corrosive, explosive poison. Our gravity might crush their fragile bones. Our microscopic life, the billions of viruses and bacteria in every breath of air, would be entirely foreign to their immune systems. Imagine stepping out of a sterile room into a swamp. The myth of planetary colonization falls apart when faced with the harsh realities of biochemistry. Even if they could reach us, they could never step outside their ships. They would be prisoners in their own suits, looking at a beautiful world they can never touch. Let us ponder the sheer mechanical failure rates over deep time. No machine is perfect. Entropy is the ultimate law of the universe. Everything decays, everything breaks down. Over a journey of tens of thousands of years, the absolute zero of space, the constant bombardment of micro-radiation, and the internal wear and tear of moving parts would spell doom for any vessel. You cannot pull over to the side of the galaxy to fix an engine. There are no spare parts in the void. Imagine a clockmaker building the finest, most perfect watch and then expecting it to run without winding, without oil, for 1,000,000 years in the freezing snow. It is a beautiful dream, but physics denies it. The universe gently, but firmly, grinds all machinery to dust. The void is littered with the silent, frozen graves of those who tried to challenge the reign of entropy. What if the true pinnacle of civilization is not expansion, but perfect equilibrium? A young species, like humanity, consumes and grows like a fire, but a mature species must learn to balance its fire, or it will burn out. A civilization that achieves a 1,000,000-year lifespan will have done so by achieving a perfect, closed-loop harmony with their home world. They recycle every atom, they harness renewable starlight, and they control their population. They have no need to expand. The desire for conquest is a symptom of a species that is running out of resources. A truly advanced society wants for nothing. Imagine a person who has found total inner peace, sitting in a beautiful, infinite garden. They do not feel the urge to pack a bag and walk into the freezing desert. The aliens are not coming, because they have already found their heaven at home. Let us confront the problem of celestial mechanics. The universe is not a static map. Everything is moving at terrifying speeds. Stars orbit the galactic center. Planets wobble. Solar systems drift. Aiming a ship at a distant star is not like shooting a target on a wall. It is like trying to shoot a bullet while riding a roller coaster to hit a tiny insect flying in another roller coaster 100 miles away. The calculations required to chart a course over thousands of years, predicting the chaotic gravitational dance of thousands of intervening stars, is computationally impossible for any physical computer. A tiny rounding error in the first year of flight results in missing the target solar system by billions of miles. The universe is a fluid, swirling storm, and drawing a straight line through a storm is a fool's errand. There is a profound comfort in the impossibility of a galactic empire. Science fiction warns us of vast, conquering armadas, stripping planets bare. But the laws of physics are the ultimate anti-empire mechanism. You cannot rule an empire when it takes 100,000 years just to send a message to your farthest outpost. By the time the message arrives, the colony has evolved a new language, a new religion, and forgotten the emperor entirely. The speed of light ensures that power cannot be concentrated on a cosmic scale. The universe is fundamentally decentralized. Every star system is its own sovereign island, protected by the impenetrable walls of time and distance. We do not need to fear a galactic conqueror, because physics simply does not allow one to exist. Let us reconsider the idea of us. The assumption that aliens would want to interact with humanity implies that we are interesting. But to a civilization that can manipulate stars, humanity is as interesting as a colony of algae on a rock. We often elevate our importance, believing our art, our wars, or our emotions are unique. But in the grand calculus of the cosmos, chemical reactions generating consciousness might be as common as quartz. They might have seen 1,000,000 species rise and fall. They do not reach out to us because there is nothing we can teach them. Imagine a renowned university professor stopping their busy life to try and converse with an earthworm. It is not an act of malice or hatred. It is simply a profound lack of relevance. We are safe in our beautiful, quiet mediocrity. Let us explore the concept of the planetary life cycle. A planet is only habitable for a brief window in the life of its star. Our sun will eventually grow hotter, boiling away our oceans long before it dies. Civilizations must race against the ticking clock of their own solar system. If an alien species realizes their star is unstable, their energy will not be spent on sending friendly greetings to the void. Their energy will be entirely consumed by the desperate, monumental task of moving their own planet. or building local artificial habitats. Survival overrides exploration. The universe is a harsh, shifting environment, and every intelligent species is busy simply trying to keep their own house from burning down or freezing over. There is no time or energy to spare for cosmic tourism. Think about the sheer sensory deprivation of deep space. We are creatures born of sunlight, wind, and gravity. Our minds require the constant input of a living world to maintain sanity. The myth of the brave astronaut staring stoically out the window ignores the brutal psychological reality of nothingness. Inside an interstellar ship, there is only the hum of machinery and the terrifying, crushing silence of the void outside. Decades of seeing the exact same metal walls, the exact same faces, with no sky, no rain, no changing seasons. The human mind, and likely any biological mind, fractures under such absolute sensory starvation. To endure the journey, travelers would have to alter their own brains, removing their emotions, their curiosity, their very essence. They would arrive as empty, hollow machines, losing the very soul that made them want to travel in the first place. We must also face the terrifying reality of rogue celestial bodies. Space is not just empty dust, it is populated by dark, unseen monsters. Rogue planets, ejected from their solar systems, wander the void in absolute pitch black. Black holes, invisible to the eye, exert massive gravitational tides. An interstellar ship flying through the dark has an incredibly high chance of encountering gravitational anomalies that cannot be mapped from afar. Imagine sailing a ship at top speed through a dark ocean filled with hidden reefs and silent whirlpools. A single encounter with the gravitational pull of a wandering Jupiter-sized mass would fling the ship irrevocably off course, sending it tumbling into the endless deep. The dark between the stars is an unmapped minefield. What if the ultimate destiny of a civilization is transcending the physical plane altogether? As physics deepens, we discover the strange phantom world of quantum mechanics. It is highly probable that an ancient species would abandon the clumsy, heavy world of atoms entirely. They might learn to upload their consciousness into the quantum fabric of the universe itself, living as immortal energy patterns free from the constraints of mass, time, and entropy. Why build a metal ship when you can become a thought echoing through the dimensions? To these beings, our physical universe is just the dirty, heavy basement of reality. They are not coming to Earth, because Earth is stuck in a heavy physical dimension they left behind millions of years ago. We are alone because we are still tied to the physical weight of dirt and water. Let us finally accept the beautiful symmetry of the universe. The very laws that make the stars shine, that hold our planet in a perfect, warm orbit, are the exact same laws that make travel between the stars impossible. You cannot have one without the other. If the speed of light were faster, if mass did not require so much energy to move, the delicate balance of the cosmos would unravel. Stars would burn out too quickly, planets would not form, and life would never have a chance to breathe. The unyielding speed limits and the terrifying distances are not a prison. They are the structural pillars that hold the roof of the universe up. By accepting our isolation, we accept the very rules that allowed us to exist in the first place. It is a brilliant, perfect design. And so we return to the quiet night. The grand silence of the Fermi paradox is answered not by terrifying invaders, but by the gentle, firm hand of physics. We are separated by oceans of time, barriers of radiation, mountains of mass, and the beautiful, expanding dark. We do not need to look up with fear. The stars are beautiful precisely because they are untouchable. They are eternal lamps burning in the vast halls of a cosmic museum, meant to be observed but never reached. The Earth is our only ship, floating safely in its own designated pocket of the void. And in this realization, there is a profound, deep breath of relief. We are alone, and that is exactly how it is supposed to be. As we slowly drift back down to Earth, let the reality of our cosmic isolation wrap around you like a warm, protective blanket. The universe is vast, ancient, and brilliantly constructed to keep its miracles safely separated. There is no armada waiting in the dark. There is no inevitable collision of civilizations. There is only the peaceful, majestic clockwork of physics, time, and distance. We are a rare, beautiful spark of consciousness, safely quarantined in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, left alone to dream, to grow, and to look up at the stars in absolute wonder. Thank you for taking this gentle journey through the void with me tonight. If this perspective brought you a sense of peace, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this moment of calm with someone else. I leave you with a question to ponder as you close your eyes. Knowing that the stars are forever out of reach, how does that change the way you value our fragile, lonely Earth? Sleep well, space traveler, and embrace the beautiful silence.